Hello, my name is Raymond Karchevsky. This is coming to you from my home, here in Cave Junction, Oregon. Tonight's piece is titled, Wake Up America, or Die to the New World Order. It is in response to a post by Rod Souza to Oregon Shout. Its title was Black Robe Foreign Agent Arrested. He goes on to say, okay everyone, here is an example of what we should start doing in this country, and proof that it can be done, even if the entire county criminal officers need to be arrested. He says change is coming. And it sure isn't coming from the District of Criminals. Rod goes on by saying that this needs to be shared with everyone, including the criminal black-robed devils that we have in our own communities, to let them know that their day is soon at hand. He posts a YouTube video of a British group of activists who arrest a judge sitting on the bench. That YouTube may be found on my website or the Oregon Shout website. Now, that post appeared on Oregon Shout, which is a growing voice in the restructuring of our government in these times which test men's souls. I have no argument with it. It goes as far as it possibly can go, under the circumstances of the current structured society, which is dissolving before our very eyes. Mind control is the insidious instrument which enslaves civilized man and women. It forms world views in the minds of the masses by the few who actually rule over them. The danger of mind control is that those who suffer from it are not even aware that such mind control is normal awareness, and they steadfastly defend it. These people are offended, which is the evidence of defensive mind control, when the word ignorance is applied to them. What is ignorance if not limitation of knowledge, lack of understanding? Such people who become thin-skinned when looking into the mirror of truth, believing that they are thinking rational people, when in fact they are acting like the computer-driven robots they have consented to be, with their programmed garbage in, garbage out. What the poster of the above article writes is an example of such a world view. Well-intentioned though it may be, he posts a link to the British activists who broke the habit of idle talk, playing by the rules of their oppressors, and acted as sovereign men and women do. Their words were their actions, and one black-robed criminal was arrested, despite the existing armed security force, which stood there to protect the black-robed criminal from the people. The power of the courts is the power of illusion, consented to by the people who come before it, at least by most of them. What Mr. Souza, who calls himself Stupid American, did was posted a link from Britain and hoped that That pretty much is what we do here in America. We talk a lot, and hope even more. All the while we sit docilely and wait for a Savior to come along and deliver us from evil. If that is not an excellent example of mind control, what is? So what do I, this living Christ, suggest? I suggest that every able-bodied man and woman arm themselves without regard to the present existing corporate government color of law policies, which are not law at all, but are private rules to control its membership of subjects who are members of the private organization, the corporate government, who operates on presumption and their own consent. No policies of private corporations have jurisdiction over any man or woman who is not a member of the corporation and therefore not subject to its rules. Why would a member of Pepsi-Cola Corporation, for example, follow the rules of Coca-Cola Corporation? All corporations are the same, private groups formed for a common purpose. The fact is, damn near all of you are members of this corporation called the United States, in all capital letters, through the ignorance of your parents, which were visited upon you as toddlers. You grew up being programmed and resisting that program. Most of you failed to break loose of such spiritually devastating training. Hence, you grew up to be normal slaves, that is. You grew up civilized. Now take a good look at the civilized world that you have grown up to support with your energy, your life's blood, your wealth, your property, your children, your very lives. Many have lost their jobs, their homes, their families, their freedom, and to some their lives, all because they are victims of their own mind-controlled existence. Their children have been alienated from their parents via the generational changes in mind-controlled world views. Few have it within themselves to break away from such bondage. They have grown accustomed to their lazy addiction to security, which is being stripped away incrementally until they come full realization of what fools they have been made of in their lives. So they dream, they wish, they pray, and while doing so they drink, take narcotics, overindulge in pleasurable entertainment as an escape from facing their true reality as they deteriorate further and further. They await their final destiny as it is forced upon them by their mind-controlling handlers, the elitists, the politicians they put into office, the priests and religious ministers who divert their attention into misdirecting illusions to allow them to escape their coming fate. The cry is wait for the revolution, armed revolution. However, in the present momentum, it is to be all one way. The oppressors are preparing, while the oppressed are waiting. If Americans cannot wake up and wake up now by acting. They will be the victims of a well-orchestrated globalist attempt to consolidate its world enslavement over each of you by satanic forces. The solution? No longer swear allegiance and support to satanic law, the law of man, the law of the corporation, the law of the black-robed criminals. Rescind your 14th Amendment citizenship that has been foisted upon you through presumption and without your consent. Liberate yourself, as is your right to do so, from the corporation, and its rules do not apply to you. I have personally proved this in my stand against the state of Oregon and Josephine County courts over the last 10 years. Return to God's law. Do no harm. That will be a stretch for most of you. But for those who have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, such wisdom, such spiritual grace will be your protection. That, and the gun strapped on, or carried in your purses, which can be used for self-defense, as granted by your unalienable right to life. No more will you be a fish in the barrel, victims at a movie theater, a school, at public events, public meeting places, to be slaughtered while police are waiting outside, waiting for the gunshots to cease. You will have the opportunity of being equal to the criminal, the corrupt cops, the mind-controlled National Guard and regular military forces who will be misused by setting up roadblocks, public building searches, street searches, home searches, with no probable cause, all of which suit their agenda to achieve population control, enacted by public servants over their masters, the sovereign people. Wake up, America, or die to the New World Order. That is the only choice you have.